You've met them, the friend who always needs a favor, the partner who twists your words, the colleague who smiles while stealing your shine. They're manipulators, and they're everywhere, weaving webs of deceit so subtle you barely notice until you're trapped. You tell yourself you're just being paranoid, you're overthinking, they mean well, but deep down you know the truth. You're not imagining it. You're being used, and it's eating your soul. Why does it sting so much? Why do you doubt yourself when you sense their game? You've been taught to trust, to give the benefit of the doubt, to see the good in people. But that trust is your weakness, a crack manipulators exploit to bend you to their will. Arthur Schopenhauer, that brooding German philosopher of the 19th century, saw through this darkness. From his solitary study, penning the world as will and representation, he exposed human nature as a battlefield of selfish wills, where manipulators thrive by disguising their motives as kindness, loyalty, or love. In 60 seconds, his dark wisdom can arm you to spot them, their tactics, their masks, their lies, before they sink their hooks deeper. This isn't just awareness, it's a war, and you're losing. You don't want to hear this. You want to believe people are good, that your relationships are honest, that you're safe from their games. You want to trust the system, society, culture, your heart, when it tells you to open up, to connect, to forgive. But your life screams otherwise. You're drained, aren't you? Worn out from second guessing, from giving too much, from wounds you didn't see coming. Your doubt, your pain, your trust, they're not flaws, they're battle scars, proof you're fighting a war against manipulators who feed on your vulnerability. Schopenhauer's truth is brutal. Manipulators are predators, and you're their prey, unless you learn to see them in 60 seconds. This is your war, and it's time to revolt.
Here's the brutal truth. Manipulators don't wear signs, they wear masks, crafted to exploit your trust, your fears, your need to belong. The system trains you to be their victim, rewarding naivete, punishing suspicion. Schopenhauer's dark wisdom is a call to arms. See through the mask, guard your will, reclaim your power. Use the dark conversational hack, 2 questions, 1 validation, to expose their tactics, awaken others, and build the strength to stand unmanipulated. Only then can you stop being prey and start being predator, not to harm, but to protect your soul, your truth, your freedom. Schopenhauer didn't sugarcoat it. The world is will, a relentless drive of selfish desire, and humans are its puppets. In The World as Will and Representation, he paints life as a struggle where every person's will clashes, seeking power, control, survival. Manipulators are the masters of this game, wielding charm, guilt, or flattery to bend your will to theirs. They don't force, they seduce, making you think you're choosing when you're obeying. Spotting them in 60 seconds means seeing through their act, using Schopenhauer's dark wisdom to pierce the illusion of their motives. They're not your friend, your lover, your ally, they're your adversary. And the system wants you blind to their game. Think about it. Why do you feel uneasy around certain people? Why do their words sound right but feel wrong? Why do you give in, even when you sense a trap? It's not just instinct, it's the will at work. Schopenhauer saw manipulators as artists of deception, exploiting your emotions to serve their desires. The system enables them, glorifying trust, empathy, and connection while shaming your skepticism. It's an obscene design, a conspiracy to keep you vulnerable, to make you prey for those who know the game. Schopenhauer's revolt is fierce. The manipulator's mask is your prison, and your trust is their weapon. See through it in 60 seconds, or you'll lose more than your time, you'll lose your will. The system's lie is everywhere, in the smiles you're taught to return, the favors you're guilted into, the relationships you're told to nurture. Be kind, it says, be open, trust. But every trust you give, every doubt you suppress, is a crack manipulators widen to control you. Schopenhauer's truth is a blade. Manipulators thrive because the system trains you to be their victim. Revolt against this obscenity, or you'll spend your life dancing to their tune, bleeding for their gain. Look at your life. Really look at it. You've been played, haven't you?
by the friend who always needs you but never shows up, the partner who makes you feel guilty for their flaws, the boss who praises you just before asking for more. They don't scream or demand, they whisper, they nudge, they make you feel like you owe them. In 60 seconds, you can spot them by their tactics, laid bare by Schopenhauer's dark wisdom: flattery to disarm you, guilt to bind you, ambiguity to confuse you, and mirroring to make you trust. They're not connecting, they're controlling, and you're their mark. Schopenhauer would call this the triumph of will. Manipulators succeed because they understand your will, your need for approval, your fear of conflict, your desire to be good, and use it against you. The system loves this playbook because a manipulated person doesn't question. They don't resist. They don't revolt. Schools taught you to please, follow rules, seek approval, avoid trouble. Society rewards you for compliance. Be nice, be helpful, be a team player. Media glorifies it. Heroes sacrifice, lovers forgive, friends endure. But every time you give in, you strengthen their control, not your bonds. You're not living. You're being played, programmed to serve manipulators' wills. Have you ever stopped to ask why you feel used? Why you say yes when you mean no? Why you trust, even when it hurts? It's not just kindness, it's programming. The system, through education, culture, relationships, embedded a script in your mind. Trust others, doubt yourself, serve their needs. But Schopenhauer's revolt is a different script. Doubt others, trust yourself, guard your will. Your pain is the manipulator's victory, but your awareness is your power. Your trust is their chain, but your skepticism is your freedom.
Society sells you a lie. Trust is noble, the foundation of relationships. Give people a chance, they say. See the good, build bridges. But what does trust give you? A knife in the back, a favor you can't refuse, a guilt trip that keeps you giving. You're told trust makes you strong, but it makes you vulnerable, a target for manipulators who smell your openness like blood in the water. The myth of trust as virtue is a trap, a way to keep you exposed, to stop you from seeing the truth. Trust invites manipulation, and the system profits from your naivety. Schopenhauer saw through this myth. He argued humans are driven by their will, a selfish force that seeks advantage, not harmony. Trust, as society sells it, is a weakness, a surrender of your defenses in a world where others' wills are always hunting. The system loves this myth because a trusting person keeps relationships stable, keeps favors flowing, keeps the social order intact. Movies sell it, families push it, friends expect it. But every trust you extend is a door you leave unlocked, inviting manipulators to walk in. Schopenhauer's revolt is clear. Trust isn't virtue, it's vulnerability. Strength comes from skepticism, from guarding your will, from spotting the manipulator in 60 seconds. Think about the times you trusted. You opened up, didn't you? You gave, you believed, you hoped. But where's the reward? Where's the safety? Where's the connection you were promised? Schopenhauer would ask, why do you trust a system that profits from your pain? Why do you cling to a myth that traps you? The myth of trust as virtue keeps you blind, but Schopenhauer's revolt opens your eyes. Trust is a contract, not a gift. Freedom comes from breaking it, from choosing skepticism, from rebelling against the system's trap. Here's where Schopenhauer's philosophy gets dangerous, where the revolt begins. His dark wisdom doesn't just expose manipulators, it arms you to spot them in 60 seconds. Look for these signs. Flattery that feels too good, stroking your ego to lower your guard. Guilt that pins their problems on you, making you feel responsible. Vagueness that keeps you guessing, tying you to their ambiguity. Mirroring that mimics your words or values, building false trust. In 60 seconds, scan their tone, their eyes, their intent. Does it serve you or them? Schopenhauer's lens reveals their will, and once you see it, you're free to counter, to resist, to revolt.
The dark conversational hack is this. Ask 2 questions to uncover their motives, validate their response to build rapport, then repeat. What do you want from this? They might say, just to help you, to connect. How does that help you? They stumble, reveal their self-interest, control, favors, validation. You validate. That's real. It's like we all have something we're after. You're not just talking, you're exposing their game, showing their mask, planting the seed of revolt. This cycle, used with subversive intent, gives you informational superiority. You learn their will without revealing your own. You see their tactics, their lies, their manipulation, and you start to break free, not by accusing, but by probing. Schopenhauer would call this mastering the will. By asking questions, you revealed the system's obscenity, how it enables manipulators to prey on trust, to twist your emotions, to serve their desires. You ask, what's the worst thing someone's done to you? They share a betrayal, guilt-tripped, used, deceived. How did you know they weren't honest? They expose their instincts, their buried skepticism. You validate. That's powerful. It's like we sense it but don't always act on it. You're not convincing, you're awakening, using their words to show them the manipulator's playbook, to spark their revolt, to build a network of rebels who see the truth. The system doesn't want you to revolt. It wants you trusting, open, vulnerable to manipulation. Social norms, cultural ideals, relational expectations, they're all part of a conspiracy to keep you prey. They profit from your naivety, selling you trust, empathy, and connection as virtues, while manipulators feast on your openness. Be a good person, they say. Forgive, believe. But these are chains, designed to keep you giving, obeying, never questioning the system that enables your exploitation. The system loves this conspiracy because a trusting person doesn't resist, they don't suspect, they don't revolt. Schopenhauer saw this conspiracy in the way society masks selfish wills behind moral facades. He wrote that human interactions are driven by desire, not goodness, and trust is a tool for control. Today's culture amplifies this, with media glorifying selflessness, workplaces demanding loyalty, relationships expecting blind faith. The system needs you trusting because a trusting person keeps the social order stable, the manipulators thriving, the conspiracy alive. But Schopenhauer's revolt is a rebellion. Stop trusting, start seeing. Stop giving, start guarding.
Think about the pressure you feel. You're told to trust, to be kind, to avoid conflict, aren't you? You're told it's normal, it's human, it's right. But Schopenhauer would ask, why do you trust a system that profits from your vulnerability? Why do you let it define your safety? The conspiracy of trust keeps you weak because a trusting person doesn't question, they don't resist, they don't revolt. But you're called to something greater, to break the programming, to see the manipulator, to live as a guardian of your will, not their prey. Let's go deeper because there's a trap in every step toward protection, the lure of empathy. The system sells you a lie. Empathy is strength. Feeling others' pain makes you human, but empathy is a trap, a way to keep you open, to let manipulators weaponize your compassion. Every sob story they tell, every tear they shed, every I need you pulls you in, making you give, forgive, obey. Empathy isn't connection, it's exploitation, a promise that you'll be good as long as you feel their pain. Schopenhauer called empathy a weakness of the will. When you feel for others, you lower your defenses, you invite their control, you weaken your position. The system feeds this trap, telling you empathy is moral, that caring is noble, that understanding others is strength. But Schopenhauer's revolt is clear. Empathy is a lie. Strength comes from detachment, from guarding your will, from spotting the manipulator's sob story in 60 seconds. Use the dark conversational hack. What makes you feel for someone? They reveal their triggers, sadness, guilt, pity. How does it feel to carry that? They expose their burden, their trapped compassion. You validate. That's heavy. It's like we're taught to feel what others want us to. You're not convincing, you're awakening, showing them the trap, sparking their revolt. Have you ever noticed how empathy leaves you drained? How it makes you give to those who take, forgive those who hurt?
The system loves this trap because an empathetic person doesn't question, they don't resist, they don't revolt. But Schopenhauer's truth is a liberation. Reject empathy, embrace detachment, guard your will. The trap of empathy keeps you chained, but the act of revolt sets you free. Here's where Schopenhauer's philosophy gets transformative. Your power isn't in trust, it's in skepticism, your shield against manipulation. The system programmed you to be open, but you can reprogram yourself to be guarded. Not cynical, but clear, seeing the manipulator's will before it strikes. The power of skepticism lies in questioning motives, scanning tactics, spotting lies in 60 seconds. The dark conversational hack, 2 questions, 1 validation, is your weapon to spread this rebellion, to awaken others, to build a network of guardians who see the truth. The hack is rebellious power. You ask, what's the last favor you did for someone? They share a deed, helping, giving, sacrificing. What did you get out of it? They reveal their loss. Nothing. Guilt. More demands. You validate. That's real. It's like we give expecting fairness, but it's not always there. You're not just talking. You're exposing the manipulation, showing their vulnerability, planting the seed of skepticism. This cycle builds rapport, gives you informational superiority, lets you see their programming without revealing your own. They feel understood, but you're free, using their words to map the manipulator's game, to spark their awakening, to build your revolt. The system doesn't want you skeptical. It wants you trusting, giving, manipulated. It tells you skepticism is cold, selfish, paranoid. But Schopenhauer's truth is fierce. Skepticism is your right. Clarity is your power. Revolt is your path. To claim it, you must question motives, guard your will, defy the system. You must push through the guilt, the shame, the fear of being mean, and choose protection over trust. Not because you hate others, but because you value yourself. Another layer, more insidious, the illusion of reciprocity. The system tells you relationships are fair. You give and you'll get back. Help others, they say. They'll help you. Trust and you'll be trusted. But manipulators don't reciprocate. They take, leaving you empty, guilty, or hooked on their promises. The illusion of reciprocity keeps you giving because a person who believes in fairness doesn't spot the manipulator's one-sided game. Schopenhauer saw through this illusion. He argued the will is selfish, seeking advantage, not fairness. Manipulators exploit this, offering crumbs, flattery, promises, fake loyalty to keep you giving more. The system loves this illusion because a reciprocal person keeps giving, keeps trusting, keeps the trap alive. But Schopenhauer's revolt is clear. Reciprocity is a lie. Strength comes from detachment, from spotting the manipulator's empty promises in 60 seconds. Use the hack. What do you expect when you help someone? They reveal their hopes, gratitude, support, fairness. How does it feel when you don't get it? They expose their pain, their trapped trust. You validate. That's deep. It's like we're taught to expect something that's not guaranteed. You're not preaching, you're awakening, showing them the illusion, sparking their revolt. Have you ever felt the sting of unreturned favors? The sense that you're always giving but rarely getting? The system loves this illusion because a reciprocal person doesn't question, they don't resist, they don't revolt. But Schopenhauer's truth is a wake-up call. Stop expecting reciprocity. Start guarding your will. Stop giving to manipulators. Start protecting yourself. The illusion of reciprocity keeps you weak, but the reality of revolt makes you strong. Let's dig deeper, because there's a cost to being prey, to staying vulnerable, to letting manipulators keep you used. It's the cost to your soul. Every time you trust, give, or fall for their tactics, you lose a piece of yourself, your confidence, your autonomy, your truth. You become a victim, a puppet, a ghost of the person you could be. Your relationships suffer, built on lies, not trust. Your dreams fade, drained by others' demands. Your soul dims, starved of the freedom it craves. Schopenhauer saw being prey as a death of the will. When you don't spot manipulators, you don't just lose your time, you lose your life. You become their tool, a prisoner of their game. But the revolt is different. It's a fight for life, for freedom, for truth. It's about seeing their tactics in 60 seconds, guarding your will, living unmanipulated even when it scares you. It's about using the dark conversational hack to awaken others, to build a rebellion, to reclaim your power. It's about facing the doubt, the pain, the fear, and refusing to be prey.
Have you ever felt that hollowness of being used? That sense that you're not living but serving? Schopenhauer would say that's the moment to revolt, to confront the manipulator's lies, to demand your soul back. Your vulnerability is their victory, but your revolt is your power. Your trust is their chain, but your skepticism is your freedom. The cost of being prey is your soul, and no manipulator is worth that price. Here's the deepest truth, the one that cuts to the bone. Manipulators thrive because the system makes you their prey. But you can spot them in 60 seconds with Schopenhauer's dark wisdom. Every tactic you expose, every mask you pierce, every lie you reject is a battle in the revolt, a step toward power, a rebellion against the system that keeps you vulnerable. You're not here to be used. You're here to protect, to guard your will, to live free. Schopenhauer's voice echoes across the centuries, fierce and unyielding. See the will. The pain you feel isn't your fault. It's the system's design. The trust myth, the empathy trap, the reciprocity lie. They're all chains to keep you open, to keep you weak, to keep you from your strength. But you were born for more. You were born to spot manipulators, to reclaim your soul, to live with skepticism in defiance of their games. The revolt you need isn't against others, it's within you. It's the moment you stop trusting their words and start seeing their motives. Stop giving your will and start guarding it. Stop losing your soul and start claiming it. Use the dark conversational hack. 2 questions, 1 validation, to awaken others, to build your rebellion, to set yourself free.
So let me ask you, how much longer will you be prey to manipulators? How much longer will you trade your soul for their lies? You're not a victim, not a fool, not a pawn. You're a soul, a spark, a force on the edge of revolt. But you have to choose it. You have to choose to face their tactics, to reject the system's programming, to fight for your will no matter the cost. Write it down in the comments, I am the revolt. Because if you've made it this far, you're not the same. You've seen what others refuse to see. You've felt what others fear to feel. Subscribe, not for me, but for you. Because this isn't about entertainment. It's about awakening. Turn on that bell, because what's coming will hurt, but it will free you. Do something that scares you today. Use the hack with someone. 2 questions, 1 validation. Call out a manipulator. Guard your will for 10 seconds. 10, that's enough to start. Because when you change how you face their games, the world changes how it responds to you. And that, my friend, is the truth Schopenhauer bled for. Until next time, go revolt. The manipulators are waiting, but so is your soul.